Hello kiddies and welcome to another episode of Spurt Weekly, the only YouTube tech show that guarantees you'll be that little bit more stupid after you've watched it. Once again this week I was on the cusp of writing a seriously poignant and life-affirming intro, and then I got distracted picking all the linty bits from underneath my toenails. The greater good, my friends, the greater good. But it's all academic anyway, because this week was absolutely stuffed full of techie-based shenanigans, kind of like a delicious pasty bursting with gravy goodness. On which note, I'm getting peckish, there's lots to talk about, so let's crack on. Spurt Weekly! Now this week was undoubtedly, as my old nana used to say, a proper twat. There wasn't just one big launch this week, there were two of the buggers which has seriously cut into my lying around in the garden drinking lager time. However, it did start with massive excitement though, because on Monday we did actually get a proper Pixel update. It's the Pixel 4a update. And the update this week is, it's only gone and f***ing launched, hasn't it? And what I'm holding here in my hand is the genuine article. This is the Pixel 4a. It's not computer generated, and it's not a Mars bar that's been cunningly flattered to look pixel-like in nature. I've got to admit, I was kind of hoping for some proper fanfare after the incredible build-up, but Google did at least send me some sweeties with the phone, so that was awesome. Mini mouthful indeed. Fnar fnar. And speaking of mini, as expected, the Google Pixel 4a is pleasingly compact at just 5.8 inches. Great news for anyone who's cursed with stubby wee fingers like myself. The Pixel 4a boasts typically slick camera tech, a 90Hz OLED screen, and thank Christ, pretty good battery life. Although it's a Snapdragon 730 rammed in there rather than the 765G that you will find in rivals like the Nord and the Realme X50 5G, but it's still alright for gaming, even if you don't get that 5G future-proofing. And I've already shoved up my full in-depth Pixel 4a review. I've done you a full comparison with the OnePlus Nord, one of its biggest mid-range rivals as well. So why not go and heat up a big old plate of peas pudding, pour yourself a shandy, and have a good old squint at that lot. After you've finished watching this heap of rubbish, obviously. Oh, and don't forget to plug subscribe and ding that notifications bell and all that other YouTube bollocks too. Cheers. But of course that's not the end of the Pixel fun for 2020, because the Pixel 5 flagship is inbound and Google has also teased a 5G version of the Pixel 4a, so strap yourselves in chums, plenty more Pixel updates on the way. And next up it was Samsung's turn with its mighty Galaxy Unpacked launch, where I got to wrap my face in this sexy scarf thing and basically look like the founding member of some well-hard white boy gangster rap group. Kent Massive represent. I had a proper fiddle with the mighty Galaxy Note 20 and the mightier Note 20 Ultra, both of which have the new and improved S Pen stylus shoved in their bottom orifice. They look and feel similar to last year's Notes, except for the flat display on the base model, which is now even more of a pocket popper at 6.7 inches. Sadly, it is Exynos all the way for us stuck here in Blighty, and rather unbelievably, the standard Note 20 tops off at just 60Hz on that display, despite the fact that a lot of £300 smartphones now come with that 90Hz option. And likewise, you'll have to chuck a bit more cash at Samsung if you want 5G on that base Note 20 model, whereas a lot of mid-range mobiles now come with it as standard. But if you like that S Pen, you're into sketching on the go, or you want to shoot some next level looking home movies, then the Note 20 have plenty of smarts packed in there to suffice. You might just have to pull a few late shifts or just not eat food for a while in order to afford one. Samsung also showed off its latest wrist rocket, the Galaxy Watch 3, which comes in two different sizes, and yeah, the smaller of the pair definitely suits my pathetically skinny toddler arms the best. Tizen OS has been tinkered with and generally improved, and you got all the bells, whistles and shiny bits that you'd expect from a watch that costs 400 big ones. And once again you can see me gaze menacingly at the camera and pretend I'm well hard in my full hands-on video. So that is it for this week's tech news, thankfully. Now it's time for the part of the show that makes me wish there was no show, and indeed life itself had ceased to exist. It's viewer comments. Whoop whoop! Viewer comments. And now first up, a big thanks and massive squishy hugs to all of you for my lovely birthday messages. Iddy says, happy birthday, always knew you were 21, smiley face. Ankush says, he is quite young, he hasn't yet grown a full set of hair. Touche. D Katsuya says, pardon my rudeness, but I thought you were 29. Yeah, I'll definitely still take that, that's cool. SQ says, about to turn 21 but already looks 42. Hey, come on now, that's just hurtful. And Avinash says, 21, seriously mate, you look ancient. Ha ha. Right, okay, that's it. Squishy hugs revoked. No squishy hugs, bollocks to the lot of you. Gonna have to work on my moisturising game, clearly. Although yes, fair play, 21 was such a distant past now that I can't even remember what I did for my 21st birthday, honestly. Although that's probably not even an age thing, that's probably just a indicator that it involved a lot of booze. Next up, Alexander says, please review the Realme X50 Pro Player Edition. The Player Edition? Is that for all the players? Spurs out there. I've never even heard of this. It's clearly not come to the UK. Let me just check. I mean, it basically looks exactly the f***ing same as the original from all the specs and stuff. Am I going nuts? No, don't answer that actually. Andy says, what phone would you recommend? I want something to replace my Mate 20 Pro. Google services are a must. Gotta do some heavy streaming and gaming. I mean, to be fair, Andy, lots of mid-ranges out there now, like the OnePlus Nord, the Realme X55G. They'll cope with streaming and gaming no problem whatsoever. That 765G, you can definitely blaze through Call of Duty, PUBG, like anything you want on that Google Play Store. And you know, you'll only spend like £300 to £400 as opposed to, you know, twice that on a flagship. So I think that'll do you quite nicely. Next up, Nick says, I was watching Top of the Pops review of the 80s last night. Quality stuff. Chris, you look exactly like your namesake, Christopher. Are you his illegitimate love child? I'm seriously thinking of starting a section of this show, which random crap Z-list celebrities do I look like this week? So far I've had Mur from Impractical Jokers, I've had some guy from the Renault advert, I've had the f***ing number taker from Numberjacks, and now Christopher as well. Although to be fair, that would at least explain my luxuriously gorgeous eyebrows. Next up, Augustine says, should I upgrade my Xperia XA2 Ultra and get the Xperia 10 Mark II? Yeah, the Xperia 10 II is a good upgrade. You've got like the OLED tech on there, it's now fully water resistant, obviously a bit of a performance boost. But around that price point, there are so many strong rivals as well. So if you're not stuck just on the Sony brand, you can get obviously like the Google Pixel 4a in a couple of months. The likes of the OnePlus Nord, the Realme X55G, all packing great performance. The OnePlus Nord and the Pixel have that gorgeous OLED tech as well. So definitely shop around, and I've got full reviews of all of those morphos, what I just listed, right here on TechSpurt. Next, Rust and Oil says, if you're going to do a t-shirt, all it needs to say is shenanigans. Yeah, that's a good shout, although let's face it, if I did an official t-shirt, it would undoubtedly be the jizz and cock and balls, purely because then I could wear it to official industry events, and it would be rather funny. At least it would if you've got the sense of humour of an 8-year-old, as I obviously do. Keith says, I miss Windows Phone. Now I just find Microsoft a menace to society and my mental health. I can't take any more Windows 10 update frustration. Now I have a Lenovo Chromebook. This is how badly Microsoft is screwing stuff up right now. People are actually turning to Chromebooks instead. Oh, the humanity. Now, to be fair, I don't actually mind a Chromebook as long as I don't need to edit video or play games or do anything that doesn't involve browsing the internet and staring at porn. IH says, you don't sound like a Macam, Chris. No, fair play. I scarpered down here about 15 years ago, mate, so I've lost a bit of the twang. Yeah, unfortunately, there aren't that many tech launches in Sunderland, although I do keep trying to convince companies to go up there and do one, because that'd be freaking awesome. You know, don't spend thousands and thousands of pounds on some posh London event space, you know, bottles of Prosecco for £100 each. Just take us up to Sunderland, do it in the Glass Museum. They'll probably do you a nice spread, bit of pasty, bit of sausage roll action. And you won't actually have to sell your firstborn to afford a round at the bar as well, so great stuff. David says, thank God I knew you were Northern, but I couldn't tell if it was a Geordie or a Macam. Fellow Macam here. For the last 5 years at least, I was a pit yakker beforehand. So you've actually gone and upgraded yourself by moving to Sunderland. Kudos, sir. I do miss a proper good night out in Sunderland though, from back in the day. Used to go to Flares and Idols and all the classic places. Bottles of Red Pig for £1. No one knew what it was, but it used to take the lining off your throat and turn you piss bright red as well, which was slightly harrowing the first time it happened to you. LCFC81 says, Sunderland's main virtue is inspiring all of Bob Mortimer's songs about it on Atletico Mints. Yeah, fair play. And Friendly Horse UK says, good that he's a Macam, he's probably from Hendon. I'll look out for TechSpurt in Jamesons. Actually not that far off. I live a little bit further south from that, around the sort of ski slope area. And that's always a mind blower for most people when you tell them that Sunderland has its own ski slope. Although I can't remember any bugger actually going on the damn thing. It was all the basically used for kids' parties. So you'd go along, you would snap a couple of limbs, and then you'd eat your own body weight in frozen pizza and jelly beans. Dennis says, have you watched Overlord or Tensai Shitara Slime Data Ken, or anything with demon in the title? Just don't ask me why demons in anime are always the good guys. I've got to be honest, I've been kind of scared of anything with demon in the name that comes from Japan. After watching a late night anime thing on Channel 5 ages and ages ago, it involved lots and lots of tentacles, and those tentacles doing very non-consensual things to human beings. Frankly, the mind boggles. I actually had to take some time off from everything, go off to Tibet and become a monk for about a year just to cleanse my brain. But anyway, we've massively run out of time yet again. So thank you to everyone who left comments last week. Very much appreciate it indeed. Please do slap some more comments down below and we'll smash through as many of those as possible next week. Next week's actually looking fairly chilled as well compared with this week. No massive launches on the go, but I'm sure some stuff will trickle in from the sides. And good news as well, if you're not completely sick of my stupid face and annoying accent already, because you can go away and listen to me banging on about more techie goodness in Tech Radar's noise cancelling podcast, which just came out today. It's available from all good branches of WH Smiths and you get a free pack of Rolos with every purchase. No, that's a load of bollocks. It's available via all of the usual podcast efforts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, etc, etc. So go check that out. It was good times with good folk. And with a bit of luck, I'll see you right here next week, same time, same place. Have a good weekend, everyone. Love you.